Hello, my beauties and bees. Thank you for sticking around with me. We are diving into yet another weird topic. It started simple enough and not all that weird. This just starts off not weird. I will promise you that this will be like, oh, well, that seems reasonable as we move into it. And you're like, well, hold on, wait. Oh my gosh, it's kind of going off the rails. But you'll see what I mean in just a moment. On this segment, I like to find people making some pretty weird claims and just kind of rolling with it. It can be religious claims, scientific claims, whatever it is. And sometimes I like to see how deep the rabbit hole goes on these types of claims. And there may be entire communities dedicated to the phenomena. And that does roll over into the topic that we're talking about right now. We're talking about gerontology. Now this isn't just any gerontology. Where we're not just talking about the actual oldest people in the world, but people saying that they've lived 130 plus years. Now, I did discuss this with my Hive. Hold on, I got a message from. Yep. Let me see. Yeah, I was talking to some of my mods in the Discord channel. So the Hive has a Discord. It's just called the Hive. You can come join it if you want. There's links in the link tree and down below, where I, sometimes I'll talk about the upcoming subjects that I'm going to be covering. But I've brought up all these. They call them super Centenarians, which is anybody claiming to live over 120 years. There are legitimate super Centenarians. There's no doubt about it. These people walk among us or wheel among us, depending on what kind of shape they're in. But regardless, they exist, right? But, once you get to a certain point, and I don't know where that point is, and we're going to maybe see if we can't figure it out today. But once you get to a certain point, it's like, hey, wait a minute, this is silly. This is ridiculous. We're going off the rails. And some of these claims I've got assorted from oldest to youngest are pretty out there. And there's some context to some of this stuff, especially these swamis, which a lot of these people are. Now, a swami, they do claim to be able to have the secrets to. It's really Orientalism from the Western point of view to be like, oh yeah, all these people in the Far East live for hundreds of years because of the secret that we don't know here in the West. It was a popular trope, but the Swamis also would consider themselves reincarnated. So a lot of these ages that come up on this list, once you investigate, like this guy right here, Mavarta Babaji, reincarnated that much. Not they don't claim that he lived that long in one lifetime. That's never been anywhere I look. That's never been the claim. It's always that he's had multiple lifetimes, so he shouldn't be on this list. But as we move through this list in the gerontology wiki, we're gonna find out a lot of this stuff has nothing ground in it. But let me tell you where I started off with this stuff, though. I started off with this guy, John Smith, Chief White Wolf of the Chippewa people, in his claim.
John Smith, also known as Giabinagun once among the Chippewa people, was a native of Minnesota who claimed to have lived to the age of 137 years. His heavily wrinkled face earned him the nickname Wrinkled Meat, and he became well known among the Chippewa before his death in 1922. Despite his impressive age, some have speculated that his facial creases were not caused by old age, but rather by a medical condition. The veracity of his age claim remains a subject of debate, although his birth year is recorded as 1784 on his gravestone in Cass Lake, Minnesota. Regardless of the cause of his appearance, John Smith remains an intriguing figure in Chippewa history, a testament to the longevity and resilience of the native people of Minnesota. His nickname and purported age continue to inspire curiosity and speculation, as well as respect for the rich cultural heritage of the Chippewa people. Thank you for watching. What do you think?
So, the date of John Smith, White Wolf's birth, is not well documented. Native American people didn't have well documented stories about, they would have seasonal sort of passages of time. Their passages of time weren't the same as ours. They didn't keep track of the year the same way we do, right? But one thing that John Smith did do and did say was that he remembers the Leonids in 1833 and that he was about 7 or 8. So the Leonids were a series of meteor showers, and a lot of well-known people from the 19th century are able to trace their age using this, because there were still, I mean, there still are today, but more so back then, there were still lots of populations within North America even that did not follow our standard Gregorian calendar, and they still lived their own ways. So judging the people's ages was difficult, but this is one way in which we were able to do so, because a lot of these people will remember how old they were when this, or how young they were when the Leonids fell, and that was a huge meteor shower. It just filled the sky, thousands of meteors falling. It's really the first big meteor shower in modern times where they really started to understand these were rocks from space, basically, or this was debris from outside of our atmosphere that was entering our atmosphere to cause this. The event marked several nations of Native American. The Cheyenne established a peace treaty. The Lakota calendar was reset, and many Native American birthdays were calculated in reference to the 1933 Leonid event. Abolitionists, including Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, as well as slave owners took note, and others. So this was a huge event. It was an omen to a lot of people that they needed to change their way. The Mormons, actually, they were driven out when this. Here it is, right here. Joseph Smith, founder, the first leader of Mormonism, afterwards noted in his journal in November 1833 his belief that the event was a literal fulfillment of God's word and a harbinger of the imminent second coming of Christ. So yeah, it was a big deal when this happened. Let me see. Ellen G. White thought that the Leonids foretold the end times and the return of Jesus. Yep, lots of people thought it was Jesus coming back. Your eyes and your ears never stop growing. That's true. Let's see here. All right. Anyway, but his claim isn't that out there, right? 138, 137, 138 years old. Within the realm of possibility, the oldest person alive today is Jean Clement. Or not alive today. The oldest person that ever lived was Jean Clement, and she was 122. So 137, like, in optimal condition and in care, yeah, probably. But if he was 7 or 8 when the Leonids happened, then he wasn't 137. He would have been more like 104. Still quite, still quite a accomplishment of age and everything, but not the super centurion that we've come to look for on this segment. So I found this little video on the YouTubes, and it brings us through, average lifespans and whatnot. 114 years is Vern Pizzinato. I'm not going to try to pronounce all these names, but these are living people. 115, 115. Completely reasonable, 115. We know that people can live that long. Especially if they've had an easy life. like Clement. There is music, but I'm not playing this. I'm afraid it'll get copyright strike. Okay, so there's Jean Clement, oldest verified living person. Living female, but living person too. And yeah, she was a smoker. We start getting into more of the unverified claims. Well, everything from here forward is unverified. 130, which is still within reason. 132 is within reason. I'm not going to challenge these claims. At least not. They're not as worthy of challenge as some of these later claims that are going to come up. Now, as we move forward, you'll notice that they start to spread out the claims a little bit. Right now, everybody's it's going 1 year at a time, moving up to how long these people claim. They skip a year there. Nobody's lived to be 137. Apparently, that is where Mr. Chief White Wolf would have been. It's right there, but he's not on this list. Well, but as we move through these, now some of these people I have pulled up here. Just a second. So, including this guy, 142 is the claim. Living in the mountains of North Kashmir, Uri district, Faraz Mir claims to be the oldest man alive on Earth, born on March 10th, 1872. Faraz has been witness to historical events as they unfold in the subcontinent. Samir Yassir reports. If the certificates are to be believed, Faraz Undin Mir is the world's oldest man alive. Issued by the government of Jammu in Kashmir, the certificate claims that Faraz was born on March 10th, 1872 in a Bijhama village of Uri in northern Kashmir, which makes him more than 140 years old. Contrary to age, Faraz can still walk, but he needs the assistance of his family members. He can talk in a broken voice. His eyesight has faded with time, but he can recognize his family members and the voices of his great-grandchildren. Donning a traditional Kashmir Farran winter garment and a shawl-like cloth that covers the shoulders, the family members surround him every time he comes out on the porch of his house. He has married 5 times and has more than 10 children who live in Kashmir and Pakistan. According to the family members, Faraz, who was the eldest son of Matuli Mir was a small trader of dried fruits who used to supply nuts to traders of Karachi in the 1800s to make a living. After he got married, Faraz was born after 4 years. Matuli, who would often take his son to Pakistan whenever he would visit for trade purposes. Abdul Rashid, Faraz's grandson, told Kashmir Life. So, then they'll have stories like this of their childhood and stuff, which was where Jeanine Clement, where she really got her, where people started to recognize, hey, this woman's the oldest person in the world, was because she had talked about meeting Vincent van Gogh as a teenager. And they're like, no way, that'd make you 100 that'd make you 120. She's like, yeah, I'm 120. So, yeah, but let's see. And that's this guy. $142 is the claim there. 143. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. 146. And here's where things start to get, for me, where it's like, probably not. So we get up around 150, I'm thinking that maybe in the future when technology gets there, but I don't know if the environment and conditions are right for a human to live that long currently. There's too many things in the atmosphere that just kill us outright. And I think it's getting worse, not better, as we move forward in time. Did she really like bananas? Let's see. Giotto Amigi from India, who was an actress in American Horror Story, was about 27 when she died. She was thought to be the reincarnation, the reincarnation of Hanuman, the monkey god of her religion. We know Hanuman here. We've covered Hanuman from a few different angles uh, throughout the years on CrypticCorner and other segments. And getting, more and more extreme. What is this? What is average man? Average man living 160 in India, which tells me that they're using a different calendar in India to get these dates than what we were using. Which would make sense that it's a different calendar, because I think that's like how we get like the old, what they call the church fathers or biblical characters and things like that, like Methuselah that lived 900 years, or these old kings in old king records where they're obviously using some kind of different measurement, some kind of different calendar to get an extremely old age. All right, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're getting up in the 190s. All right, so who do we have after this guy? Okay, so let's see. We covered the Leonids. That's going to come back too. There's our silly list. Okay, so let's start here. The world's oldest man, Zaro Aga, 1774 to 1934. Another popular Kurd in the 18th century in Europe and U.S. was Zaro Aga. Many newspaper and journals wrote a lot about him and his interesting life. Zaro Aga, who believed to have lived 3 centuries, the incredible 160-year-old Kurdish man Zaro, it's changed the name there from Zaro to Zero, I don't know why, whose life was documented by the 1930s specialist, is believed not to be totally unexpected, being the most long-lived Kurd of modern times. Because Zaro Aga is from the ancient mountainous town of Bitlis province in Kurdistan, not far from Caucasus, these mountain areas are known for their record long-aged old men and women. We have always seen their image of yogurt and milk packages in many countries. I don't understand what that means. Many explorers, including Marco Polo, Hornell and Rich, have expressed their admiration of the surprisingly good health and age of the Kurdistans. Zaro Aga came to Constantinople, Istanbul, at the age of 17 and began to work as a hamel, load carrier, and porter for 100 years. He got a son when he was 90 years old. He married 12 times and had 28 children. Among his 28 children, only his 80-year-old daughter survived him. It's no joke to say he lived for 3 centuries. He was discovered by an American archaeology expedition in Constantinople, and he was very well received in the United States. The world's oldest man is on sightseeing with company of 2 American ladies of the world's highest building, the Empire State Building. In the Empire State Building, here he is playing some guitar, boxing. Got some ladies up on his lap. And he's picking somebody up, showing how strong he is. Zaro Aga, of high age, lifts the famous caricaturist Ripley Robert. A newspaper advertisement about the world's oldest man, Zaro Aga, is in an American newspaper in 1928. It is believed that Zaro Aga lived 160 years. He was known as a strong carrier. He was known as an extraordinarily strong load carrier. And we have actually footage of this dude, I believe. Yeah. That's him right there. He's got, looks like those same 2 ladies. I wonder if they were like his concubines. Uh, Joiti isn't dead. Okay, I don't know. But yeah, he's living his best life. I don't have this muted. There's just no sound. This is a pre-sound presentation. But he's pretty spry for 160, I'd say. Pretty chipper, and I guess needs help down the stairs. But now, was he 160? I don't think so. I think maybe these films were taken in 1956. And yeah, you know, the comments are turned off because people will fact check this stuff. But yeah, there's more to these videos if you wanted to dig. There's more Zaro Yaga videos available out there if you want to really dig into it. But that's his claim. You got is Ghana's 198-year-old Amadzi, the oldest woman in the world, claim Ghana is home to the oldest woman on Earth, according to Captain Smart, the host of Anu TV Makai show. Verdict: insufficient evidence. Captain Smart's claim of having interviewed the oldest person on Earth cannot be regarded as factual due to the absence of adequate documentation, proof, and scientific test. Which brings us back to this, because we're going to get into this more. It's called the village elder phenomena, right? This is about the typology of extreme longevity myths, and most of them tie into a village elder type of archetype that people want to lean into. They want their village elder to be the village elderist. And this person's a good example of that. But another example is Mama. I'm pronouncing her name probably bad. Esefio, maybe the oldest woman alive at 191, and we saw that she was up on our chart here. 192 listed here. So died in 2016. Claimed she was born in 1825, and let's have a look. A 191-year-old woman named Mama Esefio lives in Nigeria, unproven. Photographs reportedly show a 190-year-old woman named Mama Esefio, also spelled Efisio, or Efisio, have been circulating online since they were first published by the website thewhistler.ng on the 6th of January in 2016. We came across the pictures of a woman named Mama Efiso. They keep changing the spelling. Efisio, who is 191 years old, according to a great-great-grandson of the woman, Mr. Avufayan. According to him, the woman, who is about 2 centuries old, lives in Elu in Delta State. While questioning on the veracity of this claim, Mr. Avufayan claimed that she witnessed the birth of his grandfather. That's wild. Yeah. If his claims are true, Mama Efisho is most likely Nigeria's oldest woman alive. She's not alive anymore. She died, according to this, in 2016. But the Whistler admits in their article they did not take the photographs themselves, and while the website wrote that they questioned the veracity of Avufayan's claim, the only verification they received concerning Mama Efisho's age was that she had witnessed the birth of his grandfather. It's unclear how her age is determined by this anecdote, or how her age could even be estimated without knowing the age of Afuan, his parents, or his grandparents, which is a lot of the problems with these stories. The grandfather of Mama Efisho, great-great-grandson, would be her grandson. It would be no great feat for Mama Officio to witness her grandson's birth, and this act would certainly not be proof that she is 191 years old, given that the oldest living person in the world is a mere 116, and the oldest person in recorded history lived to be 122. It's far more likely that the story is a hoax and that Mama Officio has exceeded the longest human lifespan by an astounding 57%. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's just a village elder story. I think this next one is too, though. Yep. Harijo Mislen. And check this out, 110 years old, right? And then on this thing, they're going to claim, here, he's right there. They just flat out lie. They just lie. But Harjo, 201. No. Harjo was 110. Like, famously 110. Oy. Moving on. What do we got now? Oh, we're down to Lin Xing Yuan, which is interesting. But let me see. Did I miss anybody along the way? Okay, we have, not in French. Turn it to English for me. I'm an American. I don't speak any other language. We got another Swami. Very little is known with certainty about the life of the most venerable LP Sueng. Indeed, he never wanted to reveal his biography, and even his date of birth is a mystery. How convenient. His date of birth is a mystery, but apparently he smoked. Already looking like the photo from, okay. Venerable LP Sueng appears to have entered Thailand around 1920 to 1925 and have been recognized Ajahn from that time on. He then took vows and went into Tudong retreat in the jungle for many years. A photo from around 1930 shows him already looking like a man in his a man of about 70. Where? I didn't see any pictures from back then. Lu Sing is a monk in the 80s. Yeah, in the 80s, okay, I believe that. From time to time, the most venerable LP Sueng would ask one of his disciples to drive him to the next town, and once he would go to the marketplace and ask passers-by to write their wishes or their names on a stick. Name of sick people on paper. It's not the stick people. It's like, what? Then these papers would be piled up on the ground, and a cotton sai-sin cord would be tied to them, in the end given to LP Sueng. The most venerable would then recite a long prayer and engage in a meditative exercise, which would cause the pile of papers to spontaneously combust. So once you unlock the longevity perk, then you start to unlock other things like pyromancy, where you can make things burst into flames. Truly incredible detail is that the cotton thread did not catch fire. So these swamis and stuff like their legends. Let's see, where's it going to talk about his longevity, though? The most vulnerable, I keep saying vulnerable, venerable, he's just so little, he looks vulnerable. LP Sueng, toward the end of his life in the 90s, living as a humble peasant and helping his neighbors in rice cultivation despite his great age of 190 years old. The most venerable LP Sueng in front of his house a few years before his death. Where's the old pictures, though? You said there was pictures of him and from the 30s, where he was already old. I want to see this Benjamin Button shit. Where's it at? Show me. See, he looks kind of thicker there. And that's in the 90s. He doesn't even, to me, he doesn't look like a man in his 70s there. He looks like a man in his 50s, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm a woman in her 40s. So, do I look like a woman in her 40s? But then we got old Devra Baba of Viridin. Now, this is not actually anything that we're going to be able to like understand, but there's some footage of the dude. So we're going to look at that.
Минут 15 молчал святой, время от времени зыркая на нас своим единственно видящим каким-то бездонно-зеленым глазом.
And this guy claims to be 250.
Последнего-то он благословил год назад, и по заказу никогда этого не делает.
But
уж собрались уходить. Да видно, все же чем-то расположили к себе старца. Сейчас вот Баба будет благословлять меня, а я попробую передать вам, что буду испытывать. Обычно делают какой-нибудь...
But this is another situation where you're dealing with a Swami who might be talking about reincarnation, right? Maybe that's the thread you missed. Let's see, Vridavana. Was that on this list or was it on this list? I think it was off this list. This list straight up sucks, and we'll get into that even more here in a minute. I think we're done with you, and we're done with you. This is my favorite.
The pursuit
right here.
of extreme longevity has been ingrained in our human story through all of history. Herodotus wrote of the fabled Fountain of Youth in the 5th century BC. And this tale has continued to fascinate the imagination ever since. In 1513, the Spanish explorer Ponce...
Now let me catch up on the chat before I move into the next person. People are this stupid, though. My mother certainly is gullible enough to believe some shit like this. 256 years old. Yeah, I know, right? I'm glad our lifespans don't go much past 100. Titan did provide some information that for me that shows that in a genetically optimal situation, I do believe a human could live to be about 150, could approach 150. I don't think they go past that ever, not without some sort of technological interference.
De Leon set off on a storied quest to locate the fountain.
Didn't even get caught up. None of those photos are from the 30s, right? None of them. They're all colored. Maybe the 60s and 70s at the earliest, right? None of those photos, just nothing about them said 30s to me. I heard about one lady in France who's supposed to have lived 120 years old. Don't know if that's true or just, Jean Clement. We're gonna bring her up in a little bit. She was on the list, but she actually, it's a realistic claim. Hindus always lie like this, but about age of gurus and shit. It's moronic. They can't levitate and they aren't 200 years old.
Of youth, which he
but they can start fires with their brain powers, though.
Was located in Florida. Even now, Hindus believe extreme longevity is possible through the dedication to a purely spiritual life, with many documented cases of yogis living well beyond the typical human lifespan. Today, futurists like Aubrey de Grey believe technological medical advances could lead to lifespans of up to 1,000 years. Others, like Ray Kurzweil, imagine a world where the replacement of failing body parts could essentially make us immortal.
Right, but those are with technological assistance. I'm talking with the hardware and software you're born with, and only having the maintenance done on it, not artificially, storing your intelligence or something like that. I think there's going to be a limit. I think it's going to be a limit. And based on the stuff that, Titan shared with me, I am feeling like it's probably going to be right around the 150 mark, or somewhere between 125 and 150 is going to be our expiration date.
But for one man, the Fountain of Youth was found in a simple philosophy towards life and a collection of herbs found high in the mountains of China.
Here we go, 256.
Li Qingyan died in May of 1933. Li claimed to have been born in 1736, which would have made him a staggering 197 years old.
And y'all, this is his fingernails right here. Is that spiraling thing? That's his freaking fingernails, y'all.
And while evidence shows that Li would often lie about his age, it appears his lies were intended to actually make him seem younger than he was. In 1933, the New York Times published an article which referenced imperial Chinese government records from 1827, confirming Li was 150 years old at that time. Another notice from the same source congratulated Li on his 200th birthday in 1877, making him 256 years old when he passed away of natural causes.
Now, I gotta wonder what calendar these were based on.
Numerous Chinese publications confirmed these reports.
Seems like he was trying to sell that book.
Of his age, as well as stateside articles in Time and the Pittsburgh Press. Li spent the early part of his life studying herbalism and qigong in the mountains. At the tender age of 72, he began a new career as a military advisor in the martial arts. He was reported to have had 24 wives and 200 descendants, spanning 11 generations at the time of his death.
Going for the Great Khan kind of legacy there.
Other sources claimed a mere 14 wives. One surviving photograph of Li was taken in 1927 by Army General Yang Sen.
Are you talking native atheists out here with the ship of oh my god, the ship of Theseus? Yeah, good grief, boom boom, come out of my brain already. The ship of Theseus for the human body. Yeah, like I'm not the same organism that I was 40 years ago, right? I've replaced all my cells since then.
Then, he would later publish a report called The Factual Account of the 250-Year-Old Good Luck Man, in which Yang Sen wrote, "He has good eyesight and a brisk stride. Li stands 7 feet tall, has very long fingernails, and a ruddy complexion." While Li's story has been told many times, his unusually tall height is often underrepresented. At 7 feet tall, Li was exceptional, even by today's standards.
Yeah, I mean, in China, during what was the 16th to the 19th century, the early 20th century.
Especially large for 17th century China. The average height today for a Chinese man is 5'6", and it is believed that the average in the 17th century would have been closer to 5'2". Studies examining the link between height and longevity have overwhelmingly found that taller men tend to live shorter lives, which makes Li's story even more exceptional.
So I think that Li was like Ra's al Ghul in the Nolan Batman movies, that he wasn't actually immortal, that somebody just took up the title. Someone took up the mantle of Li and played the character, and one of the people that took it up was really tall and did some photo shoots. That's what I think. Just my thoughts.
When asked the secret to his longevity, Li said, "Retain a calm heart, sit like a turtle, walk swiftly like a pigeon, and sleep like a dog."
See, that's the thing. I think that he wrote this like biography, right? And I think this was all part of the selling point.
Embracing a low-stress lifestyle has obvious and wide-ranging effects on health and longevity. But could that be enough to live over 250 years?
So be rich and stress-free is the idea. Be worry-free and stress-free. So I'm going to die at like 22.
Of course, a healthy diet would play a part as well. Early in his life, Li began a diet consisting almost entirely of goji berries, lingzi, ginseng, and other herbs, including an unnamed herb he discovered in the Yunnan mountains, which would prevent the
secret mountain herbs. That's how you do it. You gotta climb up them secret mountains and get that secret herb. Is it the same one that gets rid of lycanthropy, though? That cures you from being a werewolf? The moonflower. Yeah, because even a man who's pure of heart and says his prayers at night can become a wolf when the moonflower blossoms and the moon is full and bright.
The ravages of old age. Living in a remote mountainous area may have been an important factor as well. Again, this would contribute to a peaceful, low-stress lifestyle. And high-altitude living has been directly linked to a decreased risk of heart disease.
Low-stress lifestyle. Like a Galapagos tortoise. I'm here for it. Give me that low-stress lifestyle.
This combination of fortuitous circumstances might be enough to provide a life over 100 years, and possibly a decade or two more. Jean-Louis Calment, who claims the longest verified lifespan on record, lived to be 122. The secret to her longevity? Regular bicycle rides and eating over 2 pounds of chocolate a week. But is it physically possible for a human body?
Chocolate is the key. Is that the herb? Is that the secret herb? Did some ancient Chinese mariner sail to the New World and discover chocolate and bring it back to China, and it made people live and planted it up on a high mountain? Ooh, I'm writing a story. Guys. Someone get a pen. And take this down. And then they planted it on top of the secret mountain, and it grew, and it made people live for a long time because chocolate grown on Chinese mountains does that? I don't know.
To last 250 years? The vast majority of biologists and gerontologists would say no. And yet throughout the East, similar tales of extremely long lives are commonplace, although few are as well documented as the case of Li Qingyan.
It's poorly documented. All you have are congratulations letters on his birthday sent to him from the government because his death was never reported and someone else took up the name. So just keep it going. It's a legacy character. Legacy role. Yeah, Dread Pirate Roberts. Exactly, D. It's Dread Pirate Roberts.
One of Lee's disciples recounted a tale of an even more ancient individual. On one of his frequent expeditions into the remote mountains, Lee, 135 years old at the time, stumbled upon a hermit who claimed to be over 500 years old. The elder man, when pressed to reveal his secrets, instructed Lee in a series of Qigong techniques, including breathing exercises, coordinated movements, and dietary suggestions. Lee began performing these exercises with sincerity and faith every day. Indian history is full of extreme longevity tales. Devraha Baba was an Indian yogi who lived beside the Yamuna River. While he never made claims of his own age, reliable sources, including Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president of independent India, claimed Baba lived to be 250 years old. Tales of yogis regularly living past their 150th year are common, as in the case of Trilanga Swami, who is reported to live to 280, and Mahavatar Babaji, who according to the Guru Yogananda, was over 500 years old in 1920.
But
in
Baba,
2017,
he was reincarnated, though. You leave that part out. Why?
An Indonesian man known as Ba Gato died at the age of 142.
And again, I'm not saying I believe in reincarnation. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying that's his claim. His claim isn't that he lived 200 some years or 500 years in that body.
Official Indonesian birth records verified his age. Skeptical critics have debated the accuracy of these national records. Hundreds of other stories from the Far East contain similar claims of extreme longevity. But Lee's case is especially compelling due to the government documentation and multiple reports in credible publications. While some scientists are quick to point out that the human body cannot accomplish such longevity, our physiology has been known to produce miraculous results under the power of the mind and spirit. As with the Tibetan monks who can regulate
the power of the mind and spirit, of course, you got to remember that. And the power of the spirit, an imaginary force that you can do whatever it has whatever quality that you need it to. Spirit is such BS. Spirit is like the unobtainium of our world, right? It's this imaginary substance that gives you the power to do all this bullshit that you can't really do because spirit is not a thing. You got your own will, your own drive, the chemical signals in your brain telling you how much drive you have.
Own body temperature during meditation, or Qigong practitioners who have made large tumors disappear with the mere waving of their hands.
Nobody has ever made a tumor disappear with the waving of their hands. Why would you say such a thing? Why would you say I'm kind of wanting to flag this video at this point.
Other scientists, like Aubrey de Grey, Chief Science Officer at the SENS Research Foundation, believe that the technology to produce extreme longevity already exists, and it is primarily our cognitive bias towards the inevitability of aging that keeps us from achieving longer lifespans. De Grey's Research Foundation has published numerous papers showing exciting theoretical possibilities for repairing many of the fundamental cellular breakdowns that cause aging. Human trials are set to begin in 2021, which De Grey hopes will motivate a
Well, it's 2024 now, so you better come up with some answers.
Change of thinking about how we age. De Grey cites the expectation that aging is necessary as the biggest hurdle in his work. As he has said, The cultural attitudes towards all of this are going to have to be completely turned upside down.
Well, you have to come to terms with the fact that you're going to age in the current model that we live under, right? So, yeah, if you invent some crazy technology that changes that, then we'll start turning things upside down. But until then, people should expect to grow old and die. It's just part of the human experience at this point. More power to you on your research, but it's not a cultural thing. It's just the reality that we live in, that people grow old and die, that your body will deteriorate over time. That, you know, once you stop growing, you start dying.
Is it possible that our thoughts and beliefs play the most critical role in the aging process? Perhaps the true secret to Li Qingyan's longevity was not merely his diet, lifestyle, or Qigong exercises. Perhaps the real power came from his belief that they would work.
This belief that he could trick people into believing he was 256 years old, I think, maybe. But sometimes you'll have stuff like this, and this shows up on this list here. And there's, some of the people we just talked about. Tralanga, Devara Baba. I picked that video because it had all these people. And then we talked about LP Suing. This one gives his age at 444, so even more. Oh, yes. Abdul Aziz Al-Hafid. I don't know who the hell that is. That's not a real person. This picture is of Abdul Aziz bin Matuab Al-Rashid, who died very young at the age of 35 or 36. So I don't know where the hell this is coming from, 615. Or I looked up this guy. I couldn't find anything about it. I found a picture and tracked down who that is. But yeah, it just goes to show that most of this is bullshit. Now, I'll go ahead and close that. Now, sometimes these results are from typos, right? So, like this one saying 1231 to 1913. I really do believe that this is supposed to be 1831 to 1913, which would be reasonable. Yeah, Antony was a man who was born in Warsaw, Poland, and he could have lived 682 years, but he could have only lived 82 or 68 years. It could just be a mistake in his grave. Yeah, you think so? But this one, Kirk Campbell, 1601 to 1859, died supposedly at the age of 258 years old. Born in Scotland in 1601, Kirk Campbell lived in his life in Scotland. He died in 1859 and claimed the age of 258. Oh yeah, did he? What country was it again? Oh, Las Vegas. He's from the country of Las Vegas. Your source? Oh, it's this list. This list? In this list, you know what this list sources is their source? You know what they source is their source? They source this article. It's self-citations on longevitymythfandom.com, apparently. Now, of course, if the being from Las Vegas isn't a red flag. Now, let's see. More about Swami Trilanga. I don't know if I need to cover more of that or not. We have pretty good idea what's going on with the different yogis. Now, this one's funny because this woman is claimed to be 330 years old in the comments, and she makes it on the list. But when you, on this list, but when you look it up, it's because they messed up the math, and she's actually only 100. If you read the description and translate it, and then read the comments and see the translations, they even laugh about the fact that they're saying that she's 330 in the video description. But people, 5K people at least, love this. It's been viewed by 1 million people at this point. But no. And one of the craziest ones I've seen is this Kolstein Veglin, an insane man, it says, who gave his name as Kolstein Veglin, was yesterday arrested in Newark, New Jersey, and will be taken today to the insane asylum. He claims to be 615 years of age and to have 6 wives, all living. He is a resident of number 21 William Street and is said that he is worth considerable property. Published in 1876 in the New York Times. Obviously, it's the New York Times. It must be true, right? No, any person can claim to be this. But this is the thing. This is the veracity of the citation. Literally, they say that they think this man is unwell. I mean, at the time, it would have been, they used the term insane. But yeah, obviously he's going through some kind of trauma or issue, but they'll just lean right into it. And then, let's see. Okay, we got that one.
Billy Fonda Siddha Sayadaw Kovida was a Burmese man longevity claimant who claims to be 1052/1112 years old, making this longevity myth one of the most extreme modern claims known.
This homie's got some big old cojones thinking that he can trick people into believing he's over 1,000 years old. This guy right here, he's a real dude.
Claimed to have been born in the year 908 in Maksobo, Myanmar. He became a Buddhist monk at the Newfar monastery, and in 1027 he became an iron wizard for the cheating of his master Arya Siddha Ashin Upagod, alive during the 11th century. He says that...
So, what you can do when you get old is, if you're a good historian, you can build a fake past for yourself.
He went through a fire transformation ceremony to achieve his immortality. Kovida claims also that he is able to do alchemical transformation, which is able to achieve certain levels of enlightenment. There are also rumors that his supporters also live hundreds of years old. Kovida is known as the legendary monk in Myanmar, who often accompanied LP Seng in parade all over Southeast Asia. Some people think that he is a disciple of LP Phiruk Aundeng, and some people think that he is a member of the LP Phiruk Aundeng Senfo.
I like how some people think. Many people are saying this. Many good people, many smart people are saying this.
The Burmese military imprisoned him for 7 days in order to persecute him. They did not give him any food or water, and even set fire to him, but they had no effect on him. All the methods they tried...
He's fireproof! These swamis, they claim to be like super powerful, these monks. Like they can do all kinds of wild fireproof, bulletproof, walk on glass.
Very powerless to him. The Burmese military could only release him in desperation, and never harassed him again. There are many records about him in the development history of Burmese Buddhism. He has supervised the creation of some amulets for his own standing. A source from 2007 says that he was actually born in 968, which would make him 1039 years old at the time, still one of most extreme modern claims known. Kovida was last confirmed alive.
And we didn't have a huge celebration for this dude's 1,000th birthday. The dude lived over 1,000 years and nobody said anything until he was 1,039 or 1,112, 1,052.
Myanmar on September 30th, 2020, at claimed age of 1052, 11-12 years.
As far as we know, dude's still kicking. As far as we know, but I don't think he's actually that old. Anyway, that was my delve into the extreme end of the super Centenarians. I believe that people could live over 130. Yes, I do. I do believe that we're going to see that in my lifetime. People officially surpass the 130 mark. I believe that. 140, not within my lifetime. As our healthcare systems improve and we're able to maintain our bodies in a better stage through medical intervention, I believe that longevity could surpass 140. That's probably about where I'm going to draw the line without technological interventions that I can't account for with today's technology. But yeah, in the future, maybe we'll be able to store ourselves in computers forever, or live on as robots or whatever. I don't know, but through Buddhist meditation or Tibetan monk shenanigans or Myanmar monk shenanigans or any of this silly stuff. No, I don't think so. That's just not my vibes. Not vibes I pick up on. I don't think that there's ever been anybody that lives that long. If you think so, if you have somebody who has a well-documented history that I missed or overlooked that lived over 130 years and I didn't give them enough spotlight to say, hey, this has veracity. Yeah. Let me know. Drop it down below. I'll check it out. But please remember to be kind and take care, and we'll see you next time.
Summertime. Tell the hive. Shake it, shake it.